Hi, this is Kalyan Karmakar, and welcome to a new episode of Foodocracy India, or should I say season two. So, Foodocracy India is something which has started last year during the first lockdown. And the idea was to talk about restaurants and eateries across the country where one has spent some nice times over the past few years or had some nice meals. And the idea was that one was at that time like everything had shut down, and that was the first lockdown. So the idea was to sort of create some amount of positive vibes by sharing our lives about love about such places, and also, I mean, all of us were in such a state of angst and anxiety. So I thought that if we can do something which for a short while can divert our mind and take us back to happier times, then why not? Well, we are back in certain parts of the country like Mumbai, Delhi, in our second lockdown. And in fact, our chef Irfan Papne, when he was doing his comic recipe, Hindi recipe videos, was saying, जैसे कि second season हो गया lockdown का. So well, sometimes when you're faced with adversity, then all you can do is maybe laugh and then try your best. And but I thought I'll do something different because Foodocracy India so far was like me doing a podcast and a bit like a monologue talking about a specific restaurant or eatery across the country. But this time I thought let me connect with all these wonderful people whom I've gone out and eaten with, and get them to talk to you. So without much ado, I think most of you might have recognized him, especially if you follow the food of Bengal or Calcutta. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce and bring on Indrajit Lahiri. And Indrajit did a namaskar, but Indrajit, a few days back, I did a chat with Mr. Tikku from Delhi. So this is the way you do hugs. So let's do it the Punjabi way. So like
Okay, let's do the Punjabi way.
you can show it to me. So it was also Indrajit's Janmadin or birthday yesterday. So please join me in wishing him. So
Thank you so much.
I first knew Indrajit as someone who was writing, and he still writes a blog called Moha Mushkil, and where he would sort of document all his eating experiences, and a lot of it was around what in sociology which we used to call the subaltern life. So not necessarily famous places, luxury places, and all that, but where people would go and eat. So whether it's some bar in Dalhousie to where in Joynagore where the Mohas were being made, or the Pice hotels, and so on. And then he got together with Mir, who's a very famous performer from Calcutta, TV host, stand-up comic. He sings also, I've seen, and a very popular anchor. So the two of them got together and did something called Foodka on YouTube. So Foodka is Ka is a short form of Kaka, which means dad's younger brother. So when I came to India and Calcutta, like I have two kakas and those Borka, Chotka. So when I heard Foodka, it almost immediately struck. And then they've done many seasons since then, and the thing has just grown and grown and grown. So this episode is going to make me very popular with my niece Kimaya, who's going to turn 5, who watches the shows, as well as Akira, my friend Rahul and Arian's son. They live in Bombay. He's, I think, maybe 7 or 8 years old. They're all big fans of this thing. And nowadays, there are times that I'm very happy when I'm stopped in Kolkata and people say, I've seen you in Foodka, because Indrajit and I have sometimes gone out and eaten, and we've taken pictures together. So happy to have you on board, Indrajit, starting out the first season, and with you.
Thank you so much, Kalyan, and it's always been an honor working with you, talking with you rather.
কেন লজ্জা দিচ্ছ?
লজ্জা দিচ্ছ না।
Indrajit, one of the last times we met, which was at U2 and where Konishka joined us, I was actually wearing this t-shirt, which actually
correct,
which either means, and you were wearing this t-shirt when you went to Doyle.
Probably so. Because I'm someone who's been known as a fashion disaster, so it may always happen.
When I do this other series, Foodocracy for Her, where I speak with women entrepreneurs, I try to be a bit more formal and wear a shirt. But
sure.
Now today it's a t-shirt. So কি নিয়ে কথা বলা যায়? What should we talk about? Because Kolkata is so diverse, you know.
নাথিং, আমার মনে হয় মানে ভারতবর্ষে খাবার ব্যাপারটা ইটস সাচ আ ডাইভার্স টপিক দ্যাট it will take at least 1 or 2 sessions to decide on what we should talk. And
and
minimum
especially if
1 to 2
it's
sessions on that part.
and especially if it's two Bangalis, because I remember when I came to Kolkata in the 80s, and Bengali football at that time didn't have too many foreigners except maybe Jamshed Nasiri. So it was all about midfield play. It was midfield play,
Yes.
tuk, but no one will score. So Indrajit and I can have a long chat on what to do
without any specific topic, any specific outcome. But that's the fun. That's the fun of having an adda, right?
That's an adda. So আমার মাথায় একটা idea ছিল. I had this idea. See, first of all, when we when you think of Kolkata food, like for example, when you go to Amritsar, you're expecting to eat Punjabi
chole bhature and kulcha and those things just pop up in my mind.
Yeah, when you're going to Chennai, you would want to have Tamil food. Of course, now they have Korean and all that, but Kolkata
primarily Tamil food.
But Kolkata is not just about Bengali food. Of course, anyone who lives in Bengal is a Bengali. But if you talk of Bengali as maybe the Bengali speaking population, but that too actually the Punjabis, Marwadis, Tamilians, everyone speaks this thing. But see, tumi jodi dekho Indrajit, there is first of all the biryani culture, which is Awadhi in a sense.
Correct.
The kochuri would be what from UP Varanasi or
maybe UP or UP or even from the western side, like in Gujarat, they have in this Farsan, they have a lot of the stuffed kachoris. Stuffed ones, the dry ones.
Yeah. So a bit from Gujarat, a bit from UP. Tapor, if you look at the Chinese, it's come from the Chinese immigrants and a bit from the Tibetans also.
And then has been refined with the Indian taste, with green chilies and every damn thing.
I don't know if you remember, but roughly in the late 1980s, is যখন ওই suburban পাড়ার দোকানে chow came on, egg roll and mutton roll, and the veg chow used to be 5 taka.
Right.
So তখন egg roll was বোধহয় 3.5 and veg
chow. So if you go out with a $10, আমার নিজের মনে আছে আমি ভবানীপুর থেকে এসপ্ল্যানেড গিয়ে ফ্রন্ট রোয়ে একটা সিনেমা দেখে হেঁটে বাড়ি ফিরতে পারতাম. I distinctly remember that.
Yes. And the veg chow, they would make it on the same tawa where they would make the egg roll and mutton roll. And they'll put sour cucumber, gajar, carrot,
we didn't mind.
Then the yellow chili sauce, red chili sauce, soy sauce, and then so much of Ajinomoto.
Yes.
So then in the 90s came up the Tibetan places in Bhawanipur. Tarpor, if you take the chopped cutlet, then it's said to be a bit of a the Portuguese, British club culture, cabins, and then to the streets. So Bengali would be what? Then Bengali would be the pice hotels and mishti dokan?
Kollan, honestly, it will be very difficult to specify Bengali food. See, around 25-30 or maybe even more food cultures, they have come down, settled in Calcutta or this region and enriched this culture. এবার আমাদের প্রত্যেকটা খাবারে আমরা যেগুলো নিয়ে গর্ব করি না, যে মিষ্টি, কচুরি, রোল, একটাও কিন্তু আমাদের এখানকার নয়. মানে আমি যদি মিষ্টি ধরি, তার ছানা এক জায়গা থেকে এসছে, চিনি এক জায়গা থেকে এসছে. ইভেন বাঙালির যে আড্ডা, মানে চায় পে চর্চা, সেটা তো এখন টেকনিক্যাল টার্মস হয়ে গেছে, বাট হ্যাশট্যাগ চায় পে চর্চা, চাটাও ইনফ্যাক্ট আমাদের নয়. তো কি হয়েছে, দ্যাটস প্রবাবলি দ্য বিউটি অফ বেঙ্গল. যেহেতু এটা নদীর কাছে, ফলে ইট ওয়াজ আ গ্রেট বিজনেস স্পট ডিউরিং দ্য ব্রিটিশ এরা. প্রচুর কমিউনিটি এখানে এসছে, মানে স্টার্টিং ফ্রম ড্যানিশ, পর্তুগিজ, ব্রিটিশ, গ্রিক, ইহুদি, এভরিবডি এসে কি হয়েছে, আমাদের এখানকার খাবারটা না বিভিন্ন দেশের সঙ্গে মিলে গেছে. বিভিন্ন দেশের সঙ্গে মিলেমিশে আমরা কিন্তু একটা নতুন ধরনের খাবার বানিয়ে নিয়েছি. and that's the beauty of Bengali food. For example, আমরা যদি একটা ডিশ ধরি, পটলের দোরমা, let's say it's a famous Bengali dish.
Yes.
Dolma, you know better than me, is a different food altogether. It's a Greek food.
Armenian.
Now, we didn't get that grape leaves. We substituted it with parval. Simple as that. We didn't get minced meat. Yes. We didn't get minced meat. We substituted with fish. So that's it.
Dolma is parval, pointed gourd, with fish and kishmish sort of this thing.
Stuffed
So
with
my
anything that you have your hand, like it's fish, it's raisins, it's coconut, even mutton, minced mutton. So we don't really
so my
think
Didu
on
used to
we.
make it. Didu used to make it
I'm
on
sure.
special occasions.
I saw on your feed like
Yeah.
our Potole Dorma pictures,
Yes. So
and we treat it
Panisha, sorry,
as as a Bengali food.
Indeed, sorry, I'll just stop you for a second because
Sure, please.
see that's the problem when the two Bengalis are chatting, we'll keep lapsing into it. But don't worry,
Hmm.
between the two of us, we'll keep translating. But they made a very interesting point. It's breaking news. I also once made this point while speaking to a writer at Times of India, Cal. But
Hmm.
what he said is that many of the dishes which you're very proud about in Calcutta, whether it's even the tea over which we do adda or the chopped cutlet biryani, or even the mishti, like the chena or the sugar. He said that all of this has actually come from outside, but Calcutta being on the river and a big, port and trade city, they all were enveloped in and became a part of our food culture. But Tale
Correct.
Indrajit, one of the interesting things is that I think us Bengalis are probably one of the most I don't know, people with the biggest chip on the shoulder when it comes to food. And when I see discussions on Bengali food groups about Bengali food, there are huge, huge battles. Of course, in Bengal, battles will be like posts on Facebook
That's
groups and
normal. That's normal.
letters to the editor. Like no one's going to get on the field and do fisticuff. But there are big battles about the authenticity. But you're saying that none of it is actually originally part of Bengal. So what
Uh,
authenticity?
Kalyan people might kill me for that. Many of my
You
friends
live in
want to
Calcutta.
actually.
I'm part of
No, my friends, I'm sure few of them want to. But I feel authenticity is something quite, what should I say, is oxymoron. Because every 50 years, food has changed.
Yes.
Every 50 years, maybe, or every 40 years, some great cook, some great chef has come in. They have emerged, they have changed the recipe, tweaked it a bit. If we talk of simply macher jhol,
Yes.
so we understand it to be a standard recipe, but in Bengal, we have maybe 20, 30 varieties of the same thing. The same thing, that fish, potato, maybe some vegetables, but with a slight tinge of tempering here and there, slight tinge of masala, the entire taste changes. So that's why I'm a bit skeptic on using this term called authentic. I would rather term it as acceptable. So if we cook a meat with maybe cauliflower, it's not really a Bengali dish. But if we talk of the Bengali Muslim dish, meats are cooked with cauliflowers.
Oh.
So that's not really something very strange over there. So
Yeah, actually, this
I
concept
doubt
of
on that part.
the concept of Bengali is also a bit of a it's a cross section because on the one hand, geographically, anyone who lives in Bengal should be Bengali, just as anyone who lives in Maharashtra should be Maharashtrian. But then we have the cross segmentation, no? Because there's also
Yes,
caste
very
religion.
much.
So there'll be Muslim, Christian, just as in
I know
Maharashtra,
of
there's
many
Parsi,
Marwadis
Bodhi.
or Gujaratis. I know of many Marwadis or Gujaratis or Muslims or maybe British. They are more Bengali than probably I am. They know of Calcutta's history more than I do.
Our
And they
friend Sue
can,
Cope, for example,
yes.
she's British. She and her husband.
So I have
She
a
knows.
friend named Devashish Kothari. He is a Marwadi
Dave.
guy, a
He's a
Sheherwadi.
vegetarian this thing blogger, no?
And almost every week we fight on this meat versus sweet stuff. We are used to that. So one week I blocked him, and the next week he blocks me up. So this thing happens. But I feel that gentleman is probably more Bengali than I am. He reads a Bengali newspaper, where I may be able to, probably I am able to read a Hindi newspaper, but very, very slowly. I need to take each word and then read it out.
Sanmark.
But they are not like that. Maybe
Sanmark.
I have learned to read this Hindi stuff, not very fluently. I'm not very fluent on that part.
It was a third language.
So these guys are more Bengali than probably I am. And who am I to comment on what is Bengali food? That is absolute rubbish. And we Bengalis in this part of the country, we take pride in acknowledging others' culture. We are a confluence. We prefer in learning. So that's what we are.
That's true, In fact, in the time which I grew up in Kolkata, there were certain communities, like especially the Sikhs, the Tamilians,
Yes.
the Gujaratis, the Marwaris. They would speak such fluent Bengali. They felt
Yes, very much.
such a big. In fact, at that time, one never thought there was not any of this inside outside concept which one sometimes picks up, which is sad. But I hope that things go back to the way they were. You know.
I'm
Huh.
sure. I'm sure good sense will prevail, and it will be there. I'm sure of that part.
Yes. Okay. Now, since Foodocracy India has been about talking about specific places, and when I do it, I take one place and talk about it, but I also talk a lot about the culture around it, like we are right now. So let's take our discussion to two specific aspects of Kolkata's food. One is something
Mm-hmm.
which, in a sense, I would say you introduced me to. I mean, I might have heard of the concept before, but I think you introduced me to. And while we've together not gone to one of them, but once when I went to one of them, I went basis your recommendation, had a lovely time. Of course, you've done I
Mm-hmm.
think a two-part series on Foodka. Acha, who's a bigger foodie in real life, me or you?
You can guess it from the size. Between both of us, you can actually guess it from the size.
I,
So
I,
I don't mind.
I am guessing it's me.
Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
Yeah, but he seems like a fun guy to eat out with.
He is fantastic. He is brilliant in front of camera. And the way I'm talking even today is because he taught me to. He has been a true mentor for me.
But how lovely, you know, how lovely. That's and I'm so happy. Like even when I talk about you and with Konishko, it's so great to see that you've believed in something and it's grown over time and
Yeah.
and we're most happy. Okay, now so I was talking of Pice hotels.
Mhm.
So can you sort of explain the concept of Pice hotels a bit to our readers and listeners, and why if someone's not from Calcutta and goes to Calcutta post COVID or whatever, they should try to eat at one, and where should they eat?
See, Pice Hotel, in a nutshell, would be the place where we get everyday regular Bengali food.
Hmm.
Bengali food is a very simple thing, yet complex. That means, with, as we said, with a slight tinge of tampering or cut of vegetables, the entire dish changes.
Yes.
But if most of the fine dining Bengali places, what they do is they have one or two or four similar gravies, and fish or meat or egg or everything goes in that.
Yes.
But at a Bengali home, it's not like that.
True.
Even for the vegetarian dishes, like a labra would be very different from a chochuri, which will be again be very different from a ghonto. I, as usual, have a blog post on that. But so this Pice hotels, what they do is they prepare food for a everyday Bengali. The idea is it's a community eating. You can't have a table on your own. You have
Hmm.
to share tables with strangers. The food is normally cheap, and it's non-spicy or lesser spicy. I won't say non-spicy, it's less spicy. There would be a huge variety of fish. One characteristic is there won't be any menu card. I repeat, there will be no menu card in a Pice hotel. What they do is there is usually a blackboard, and in the morning, the owner or the manager goes to the market, goes to the fish market, whichever fish they get for the day, they just come back and write down the names. Like on a Monday, there can be four varieties of fish, and 10 varieties of dishes out of those four fish. On Wednesday, there can be 8 varieties of fish and maybe 15 varieties of dishes. So it might so happen. And that's a place where I have seen people staying in Calcutta without the permanent. They have been staying in a mess or a shared accommodation and having the same dish over years. Like there is a place called Siddheshwari Ashram. It's
Yeah,
a
even
Pice
Konishko
hotel.
was telling me about it. Yes.
Yes, that's a very good one,
Where
brilliant
is
one.
this? Where is Siddheshwari Ashram? Like,
It's on the backside of New Market, a 2 to 3 minutes walk,
but
maybe
any
a
other
5 minutes
landmark?
walk.
Any other landmark? So is it near where?
It's the ancestral property of Rani Rasmani.
No. So when you say it's at the rear of Newmarket,
So from
would it be where Kalman used to be? That area where the
Kalman, in
CA.
the rear of Newmarket, there would be this huge red KMC building, Kolkata Municipal Corporation. So if you take the lane bang opposite to that, you will hit this place called Siddheshwari Ashram.
So that's roughly where Nizam and Bihar restaurant,
You need to
which
take
also.
the lane next to Nizam, and it will hit the Siddheshwari.
I go there every time when I go to Kolkata, and I never
No,
even
no,
thought
just
of looking
let
for
me
it.
know, and it will be a pleasure accompanying you.
I know.
So
You've told me, offered me
the
so many times. Yeah.
the beauty is they make less spicy food. They make home style food, actual home style food. Like a chochuri would taste like an chochuri and not a labra or a ghonto or some kind of
Yes.
a strange curry.
Yes.
Like in India, we have seen that macher jhol means some damn bloody mustard in it. I don't know why, for what godforsaken reason.
And
There is a
jhol.
mustard in that jhol, and jhols,
And
macher
jhol, not
jhol.
jhol.
So I don't really blame the pronunciation because
ठीक है
we
ये.
cannot, most of us, we cannot differentiate between ghora and tera. So let's not go to that
No,
domain.
and I massacre pronunciations when I talk about food from Kerala or Maharashtra on my videos. So
Correct.
yes,
But
I
this
can't laugh about
food,
that.
this food is very, this mache jhol, at least at our home, we have 5 to 10 varieties of mache jhol with the same
Whatever
fish.
moms know to cook or we know to cook.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct,
by the how
correct.
many versions will be cooked? Yeah, that's true.
Naturally, maybe
Huh.
each day of a week we'll get one different variety. That's it, with the same fish.
Hmm.
But unlike Andhra mess, you don't get a thali here, and every item is spiced modularly. Like I can just have rice, dal, and a fritter. That's it. So, in fact, it's designed in such a way that they will serve it on a steel plate or something. If you want a banana leaf on top, you need to maybe it will be charged around 5 or 10 rupees extra.
Yeah,
If you need a kulhar or a ardan bhar, that will cost you another 5 rupees. So it's designed in such a way. So it may so happen that somebody goes and orders for 4 varieties of fish, no dal or sabzi, or if somebody just have a dal sabzi and the regular fish, that's it. And it's
and
very, very pocket friendly. Very pocket friendly.
how old is this phenomenon of spice hotels?
See, this probably has started a century back, but they have started marketing, or it has been in news for maybe last 30, 40 years. So there are a
Hmm.
couple of places which are close to a century, and they're still going pretty strong.
Close to a century old. Huh? Wow, that's amazing. And you
Yes,
told me that originally they were for people who came from outside of Kolkata to work here,
it still
and they would
is. It
go
still is. So it's
and they
mainly
would go
for
and
the
eat.
working class. So someone stays in the outskirts of Calcutta, maybe in the
Huh,
suburbs, and they
huh.
stay in Calcutta in a mess or something for their Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. So what these guys do is they come to a pice hotel even and eat there every day at a specific time. Lunch starts a bit early by 9:30 or 10 and gets over by 3. I have
That which you said also reminded me a bit of a phenomena in Mumbai. So you have all these Malwani restaurants in the Nil over here, where you get the fish thali and so on. So they were also apparently set up for people who came from across Maharashtra to work in the mills of Bombay. So they came by themselves without family. So they would go to these places for dinner, which were run by their mashis, and they would make a simple, fish thali, mutton thali, and end of the week or month, they would pay in the khata. And that's how it started. But like you said, in Andhra places, mess, or in the Malwani place, it's more the thali system, but probably more a la
here
carte.
it's in a modular model. It's an a la carte
So,
system, and you need
so
to pay for every damn thing.
say if you are not a Bengali or you're not from Calcutta and you've gone to Kolkata and you want to get an experience of the food over there, and you walk in, then first of all, like, is it the sort of place which you get, where, say, if you're not a local, you're not very welcome, or are you made to feel welcome? And
No, no,
and
no,
is
no,
there
no,
a
no.
language barrier?
It's
Is there a language barrier?
absolutely not. They understand Hindi pretty well.
Huh.
English, okay. English has never been an international language because Japanese, I've never seen any one Japanese use English.
Huh.
But they can communicate over here. So thing is, once you sit down, they will come with a plate of rice and dal. That's it.
So
Then
that's the
again, they
basic
will.
thing.
That's the
I,
basic. So next, they
hmm.
will come with a service tray with a variety of vegetables. So you can just watch, see, and choose. They
Huh.
will come with a variety of fish of the day. You can just pick and choose,
Huh.
and that's it.
So chef's
So
tasting.
language is never really a barrier.
Chef's tasting in a way. And I'm
Almost,
guessing
it's
that,
like a hmm.
and also what I've seen in Kolkata, and while growing up also, is that everyone wants to help. So if you don't speak the language and you go in, then I'm sort of guessing that
People will
people
try
sitting
their
around
level
you
best
will,
to help you.
hey, there'll be
They
people who
will
will
try
take
their
you
level
under there.
best to help you. And language is never really a barrier in India. We are friendly people. What we do is we
Yes.
try to help. Only someone should be ready to communicate and seek help. That's the basic thing.
And I think in Kolkata and many parts of India, they particularly love it if you show an interest in their food.
Very
Then.
much.
But tell us about some of the famous pice hotels which one can head to or are easier to find, especially if it's one's first experience or one is not from the city. Then
I
which are
would
the
prefer. I would ask them to go to Shadin Bharat Hindu Hotel. That's the Uriya Hotel you went to, or Siddheshwari Ashram, Jagan Mata. So we have shown them in the Foodka episode, or even in my blog, Moha Mushkil. And if it's somebody from the South Calcutta, southern part of the city, I would ask them to go to this place called Torun Niketan. That's a brilliant place.
So when one goes to each of these places, like are the dishes going to be similar, or each of these restaurants would have their own touch to it?
Mostly similar dishes with few specialties.
And since we're trying to get an idea of the culture of the city, is there anything about the entire culture of pice hotels, the food, the atmosphere, the sort of people which eat there, which you feel symbolizes a certain aspect of Calcutta? And if so, what would it be?
Pice Hotel, as I said, is a great leveler.
Okay.
And it brings everybody down to the same platform. It's supposed to be a community eating. So there's no differentiator, like a multimillionaire would sit in the same table with probably a rickshaw puller and enjoy the food. The items would be different, but Pice Hotel is a great leveler.
Pice Hotel is a great leveler, and I think that's a wonderful thought, and that's what the places which we speak about in Foodka India are all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Indrajit Lahiri. Thanks so much for your time, and do check out his blog, Moha Mushkil, where he's written about Pice Hotels and in English, and then their YouTube channel Foodka, where I think there are at least 2 episodes on Pice Hotels, right?
Yes, and with subtitles.
And with subtitles. So it's
with
it's
English
in Bangla.
subtitles.
It's in Bangla.
It's in Bangla, but with English subtitles.
And also, like when you see the videos, you get an actual feel of how the place is, and I'm sure it's going to entice you to go there. So thanks so much for watching, and thanks Indrajit for joining us, and stay safe, everyone. And once again, belated happy birthday wishes to you. Bye.
Thanks.
Take care.